Letter number 13, through the vehicle of your silence. I am still a human being and you are being a jerk, while creation itself does not make mistakes, but mostly now. Monday, June 17th, 2024. So I suppose V left yesterday. Maybe. Don't know. You're not communicating again for reasons unknown to me because you don't share. I would like to understand why, or perhaps I don't need to. I mean, you don't need to communicate anything. I guess you can literally choose to do whatever it is you want. But there seems to be such a discrepancy between the energetic states I experience from you. It's just super hard to make any sense out of it, which does not mean that sense has to be made out of it in the first place. Or you could just may have nothing to say now. Well, when I have. Or you could say, go fuck yourself. You just go with nothing, which is such a trigger. So thank you for presenting me with the opportunity to expand myself through the vehicle of your silence. It's interesting that when I text V and you both, you engage. When it's just me, you really don't. I'm obviously curious as to know why. What is the thinking process? You were talking to me just fine and now you're being weird again. And it's all fine, I would just like to know why. How does that work? What happens that makes that happen? And maybe I'm just making shit up in my head, but usually I'm not. Usually I'm pretty resonant with what is going on. I used to doubt and question that so much. Now I don't anymore because the more I do it, the more I use it, the more accurate it is. It's interesting also because at times I am actually able to shift the energy myself from my end. Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. I came out of meditation with few things. I find myself operating from two modes or two primary vibrations. The more human vibration, more dense, more based in physical reality, not necessarily in ego, but definitely more susceptible to the ego. But there has been a shift in the human relation to its ego also that I can't quite verbalize yet, but see and recognize, so just wanted to point to it. And then there is the 5D vibration that operates on a different vibration and frequency than the human. While it's interesting to observe and witness myself, it's also interesting to see how they relate to you and what's going on with you and going on or not going on between us. Obviously, everything I say is from my perspective alone. I do not have access to any other perspectives but mine. You said, I can find some time to talk on the phone, which I addressed in the text. Why would you be looking for time? Unless it's a figure of speech, but I guess not knowing where you are and what you are going through and not having a direct connection to you, I take your words literally and also obviously through the filter of my own perception. The point, however, remains the same. If you need to be looking for time to connect with me, then you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. If you would want to connect with me, or any human for that matter, you would do it if and when you felt the urge or desire to do so, and you would just do it. The same way you sent the text when you sent it. I'm sure you were not going around in circles the way before, saying to yourself, tomorrow morning when I wake up, I will text Lutz. And if you did do that, then perhaps you should not have texted in the first place. With that said, anything you choose to do and how and why you choose it and how and why you go about it is all valid and entirely up to you. The point I'm trying to make is if you don't feel like doing it, whatever it is, don't. Because you don't have to. If you do, it's your choice alone. And if it doesn't feel good, perhaps examining the why would be a good course of action. Why is it that you believe that you have to choose something you don't want to do, that doesn't feel good or doesn't align with your preferences? And if you find out why, See if you can challenge that belief and find a more suitable belief that would support a choice that you would feel good about, or at least better. With that said, you said it's been a rough time. How rough? What's happening? What is making it rough? Do you want to share? Why not? Do you want to share with me specifically or just in general? Do you not want to share with me specifically or just in general? Are you so spent, and if so, in what capacity, that you are unable, not capable of sharing? Call when you want to talk because it would feel good. Otherwise, don't. You keep talking about supporting and loving yourself. Then fucking do it completely and unapologetically. Do only what feels good in any given moment and stop when it doesn't and move on to the next thing. Don't judge it, don't criticize it, don't worry what anybody will think, just fucking be yourself. Drop everything else and see what emerges. Keep following the why behind those choices and the reflection and internal reaction you get from yourself. Did you feel good when you made that choice? Or did that actually not, even though you thought it would? And why not? What was the belief behind the choice? And over again. For example, did it feel good to text me in the moment and later? Did my response cause you distress? If so, maybe you shouldn't have texted in the first place. Or perhaps looking into why it's causing you whatever it is causing you would be a way to go. And if that means that you will be at the beach most of the day, not texting or speaking to anyone, perhaps that is what you need. Until you need something else, and then you will do something else, whatever that will be. You said in person is not an option currently. So, are you saying you choose for that to not be an option? You are saying you are choosing for whatever reason to not meet in person. Okay, then just fucking say that. It is an option. It is always an option. The option always exists. The fact that you don't choose it is your choice and does not make that option any less of an option. My question is, why not? What is happening with you or within you that makes you take that option off the table for yourself and for me also, because I happen to honor your choices even though I could choose to ignore it and make my own choice and stalk you or run into you or in some other way choose my own action due to my own beliefs. So why not? What is happening that makes you choose to not interact with me in person in any capacity? Why not? And even though I do want to know, you don't need to tell me, obviously. That's another choice you make for yourself. However, you should know. All of this is my 5D self-observing and documentary style laying it out. Some of my recent downloads contribute to this analysis as I know now more intimately the workings and connections of energies, dimensions, matrix, grid, soul's journey, Akashic records, and other stuff. Everything that is happening is trying to bring you to your truest self. All of the pain and trauma and wounds are trying to show you who you are not. Every experience, good and bad, points you to the source. That is very oversimplified, but truth nonetheless. And yes, every single experience you do choose, because whatever belief you hold, that's what gets reflected back to you and triggers a reaction, positive or negative. And if you keep choosing to act on that belief that evokes negative reactions over and over again, without questioning it, challenging it, and changing it, it will continue to deliver the same reflection in your life reality over and over again. Example, me and your silence and the way it triggers me. Until I come to truly believe that your silence has nothing to do with me, that it is your action and it does not reflect upon the fact that I am seen and approved of, until I challenge the belief that you don't need to approve of me in order for me to be able to approve of myself, until I adopt a new belief that I can and do approve of myself fully exactly as I am and stop being afraid of fully being myself, Only then will I be able to see your silence for what it is, your silence. And once it no longer triggers a negative response within me, then I will know that I have truly healed that part of myself and I can show up more fully as myself and choose from a healthy place how to engage and deal with your silence. Of course, the human part of me is so fucking over this, which is partially fine because they both can recognize that in some way it's just a super shitty way to treat someone. Because I am still a human being and you are being a jerk. One day you send a picture of a dog ordering a beer and the next day you don't respond at all. Which is not meant as a criticism at all. That's just you and you alone. I am responsible for my end. I have no business telling you what to do or not to do the same way you have no business telling me what to do or not to do. My only business is to watch my reactions to what I'm experiencing and look and challenge my beliefs so I can then accordingly adjust my end. For example, I can't ask you to do anything or to not do anything. I can't say, hey boo, please don't tell me you love me if you're going to continue silent treat me the next day. That's none of my business. That's your choice and your choice alone. What I do need to do is go back to myself and ask myself, why do I keep playing this out over and over again? What is it that I believe about myself that keeps presenting me with the situation that triggers pain and makes me feel unlovable, undeserving, and unworthy? And yes, I could just walk away and block you and blame you for being an asshole and whatever else, but then I would only create that situation in some other way because I haven't actually addressed the real cause of the issue. And therefore, I'm not allowing myself to truly become myself. Again, it's more complex than that, but in a nutshell, that is how we create our own reality. And yes, whatever you believe and everything you believe will become your reality. And as you adjust those beliefs and replace the ones that you simply choose that you don't want to believe anymore because they may not serve you or really for whatever reason, your reality will then shift accordingly and your experience will reflect that. There is an additional component of your perception of the whole picture. You, as the 3D human, have a very limited view of the map, if you will, and also are too much relying on your reptilian brain. Again, not saying that is wrong, because it's not and serves a purpose. Everything serves a purpose. Everything contributes to the balance. Light cannot exist without darkness. However, we are part of the source, and as such, we have access to the higher selves, higher levels of self, soul, which have a bigger, higher perspective and bigger view of the map, if you will, and can and do provide guidance and feedback, often related to how we feel about whatever we are experiencing and encountering. You can say that intuition is part of the system, however, it can be clouded by fear and our need for safety and security. But that ultimately also reveals itself because it does not work out in the long run or does not turn out what we thought it would. And then you know that it was clouded by fear in some capacity. Regardless, the choice always lies within you. It's just that at times it results in more suffering than necessary. However, everything always serves a purpose, so again, you can know that that's not how you would choose to do it. And that knowing and experience ripples into all lifetimes and realities, and also every variation manifestation of you will benefit from you making the choice, even though for you it really sucks in the now. So everything that is happening should be happening, because if it shouldn't, it wouldn't. The same way that everything that is not happening should not be happening, because if it should, it would. because creation itself does not make mistakes. If you should not exist, you would not in the first place. Not here on earth, but in general. You exist. And you will always exist because you exist. And you will change forms and vibrations and such, and transform and such, from one realm to the next, from one dimension to the next. But you will always exist because you are part of oneness that has separated itself in order to experience itself. I do understand that that does not help your pain and suffering in the now, but perhaps provides a little breathing room around it. Or maybe it helps a little when you emerge from the deepest thick of it, because you know that everything changes. The fifth law of creation, right? Everything always changes except the 4 laws of creation. 1, you exist. 2, everything is here and now. 3, 1 is all and all is 1. 4, what you put out there is what you get back. 5, everything changes except the first 4 laws. Well, that just poured out after meditation. I will continue to work on my end of the silence as it comes my way, taking my own advice, believing that this too will change and that everything serves a purpose. None of that makes me love you and miss you any less, possibly the opposite. I am holding myself in utmost love and compassion while I am experiencing our separation, with the belief that perhaps one day we will be united in love again, in an actual partnership. 2 equal individuals creating a unit that supports and nourishes and expands both. I love you now, every minute of every day, across all timelines and dimensions, forever and always, but mostly now.